everyone, I'm Moody Boo, and I'm back with a perfume review, a very special perfume. I am going to kind of touch on some other perfumes in the house, so it's kind of a house review, but not really. And this is the house of Zoologist. So I've spoken before that this house floors me. The whole concept behind it, the artistry, a lot like Centauri perfumes. Once I heard Centauri's story and saw those bottles, sign me up. And the same with Zoologist. I was determined to get a perfume from this house, a full bottle, because it is like Centauri. They are works of art. They're incredibly beautiful perfumes. They're so unique. Most of them that I've tried in both houses, even though we're not talking about Centauri, I'm just saying they both parallel each other in their quality, uniqueness, artistry. I can't wait to see what kind of Centauri perfumes are going to come out there and what more Zoologist perfumes are going to come out. This house. It is amazing. And the bottles and the artwork are crazy. And every perfume that I have tried in this house, I've said before, I didn't get the correlation necessarily reading the notes and hearing the name and looking at the artwork. But once you test them, everything comes into clear focus. It's just like, well, of course that's Bat. Of course that's Panda. You know, it's like, I just love them. I just love them. So I'm just going to touch upon some that I've tried and I'm kind of working with because I'm intrigued, but I'm not there yet for buying a full bottle. And one of those I bought a travel size of is Hummingbird. And I thought I'd talk about this one just a little bit because it's very interesting. But I probably won't get a full bottle of it. And let me tell you why. Now, I thought for sure Hummingbird was going to be a really easy blind buy for me. But the more I read about the house and the perfumes and got reviews on them, I thought, this is one of those houses you just don't want to blind buy. You might be disappointed. It's best to warm up to the concept and the story and the artwork and the bottles and the whole dynamic of the perfume house. In my opinion, anyway. I appreciate the house in this case before I appreciated any individual perfume. And that doesn't happen too often with me. It did with Centauri. But usually I fall in love with a perfume in a new house that I've never tried before. And then I explore the house more to appreciate them. But Zoologist, this is one of those perfume houses that I appreciated the house before I found a perfume that I adored enough to buy a full bottle of. But that didn't mean I wasn't going to stop trying because I am determined. So I was smart enough just to get a travel size of Hummingbird before I pop for a full bottle. But I do get a little bit of that artwork on there, which I love. So this is honey, and there's floral notes in there, including lilac and lily of the valley. And there's fruity notes like cherries and pear. And there's some whipped sweet notes and some other fruity notes like apples and plums, and there's ylang ylang, and there's sandalwood and tonka and amber and woody notes and all kinds of things. But for me, it's mainly about this narcotic honey and a very artificial cherry note at the very beginning, along with that lily of the valley. Now, when I read the notes, I thought, this is for me. But then when I smelled this, I realized it's not quite for me. Mainly because I do get a little bit of air freshener note, that artificial cherry, and I think the lily of the valley kind of give it this artificial note. Now it gets much, much better in the dry down. That artificial sweetness, it's almost too sweet, kind of subdues. And then all of these wonderful earthy notes, the ambers and the sandalwood and the woody notes, and some of that oak moss come up there and kind of dry it out and ground it, because this bird is flying off to the moon. This sucker hasn't touched the earth in a long time. And then finally, in the dry down, the bird lands and kind of plants its feet. And it becomes way better then. But the top of it into part of the mid notes, that's just not my favorite part of this perfume. But I totally get it. These are all things that in the PNW here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of hummingbirds. A lot of hummingbirds. People have hummingbird feeders all over the place. And hummingbirds are ruthless little bastards. Let me tell you, a friend of mine has like 6 of them in front of her, or 8 of them, or 10, I don't know, and right in front of her house. And she always has them full during, you know, spring, summer, fall. And there will be, and for some reason, they will decide they like one hummingbird feeder more than the others. They will swarm that one feeder like bees and absolutely go after each other. It's this absolute cacophony of buzzing and these little chirp noises, these little ticky kind of noises, and wings flapping and hitting the hummingbird feeder, and other hummingbirds getting there and drinking while everybody else is fighting. And it's incredible. There was like anywhere from 8 to 12 of them around this one hummingbird feeder. And then the next day they may choose a different feeder. The smart ones just let everybody fight over the one and go drink at their leisure to some of the other totally empty feeders. So hummingbirds aren't these sweet little benign birds everybody thinks. And they have to eat, like, it's something like every minute they have to eat something or they will starve to death because their metabolism is so high. It's crazy. Their lives are insane. No wonder it's a dog eat dog, hummingbird eat hummingbird world out there. I totally understand this perfume, because all of those flowers and the fruits and the woods, those are all things that you would probably see and experience and smell while you are where hummingbirds would be. Absolutely amazing perfume. It's that top, that artificial cherry note really puts me off. And I can't stand Lily of the Valley. It's just way too, and putting anything artificial or anything soapy with a Lily of the Valley note, to me, usually ends up a disaster for my nose. But this one, like I said, all the other notes come into play and it becomes much nicer. I'm not there yet. I'm still working with it, but this shit is strong. So I have only done like one spray every time I've tested it. And completely unisex, even with all the floral notes and the honey. Once it dries down and it kind of anchors to the planet again, I think that is where it is absolutely the most unisex. But getting there, it's like you have to walk through a public toilet with a lot of cherry scented urinal cakes in order to open the door to this wonderful hummingbird paradise. That's the only thing. I don't like the trip through the potty room. But after that, yeah. The one that I was like, oh shit. This is the one. This is the one. And that's Camel. Look at that artwork. Isn't he the coolest? This is dry desert, but with a hint of sweetness and a lot of spiciness. And this desert is arid, and it's like there's not a lot of animalic notes. I know on Fragrantica, a lot of people said civet. It's there. It's just a whiff of it. It's not like you're riding the camel, but it's almost as if you've traveled on the camel to the Sultan's tent in the middle of the desert, the Sahara, and you've gone inside. You're sitting at a table full of dates and incense and fruits and spices, and it's a wooden table, an aged wooden table. That's kind of what this reminds me of. These fruits are very ripe, and the dates are too. They're sweet, thick, juicy, but because you're surrounded by all of this desert, nothing gets real moist. Everything dries out fairly quickly. Oh my God. I'll tell you, these perfumers are so smart, and the artistic director is crazy genius, because I get it. Every time I smell one of these perfumes, I totally get the concept of the scent, even though prior to that I didn't. I'm like, camel with fruits and dates and civet, huh? But it's like, once I smelled it, okay, here we go. I'm going through the desert on a camel. Oh, there's the tent. Ooh, Sultan's hot. Yes, I would like to sit down for some treats. Sit down at this old table. Oh, thank you. I'm going to sit here. I smell a little like camel. Sorry about that, but the fruits are delicious. And thank you for the dates and the wine and the water and this wonderful wooden table. I appreciate the whole atmosphere. Oh, this is dried fruit and myrrh and dates and civet and olibanum and incense and amber and cinnamon and musk and oud and rose and vanilla and more florals, more woods, more spices, vetiver, sandalwood. Oh. And I tell you, when it's so dry when you smell it out of the bottle. And at first, the first few minutes, it's quite dry, quite arid. But once all of the notes start to come out and play their parts, it moistens up, it gets a little sweeter, and the dry down is just, I mean, it just almost gets close to being gourmand-esque. But it's also amber-esque. So it has all of these different facets that just make this puppy shine, as far as I'm concerned. And the performance is insane. It's crazy on it. It lasts for me a good, well, I shouldn't say it's crazy, because it lasts, and I've been wearing this during hotter months. Well, not hotter months, because I haven't had it that long, but hotter days and cooler nights. I have just tested it in all kinds of scenarios, and it's wonderful in all of them. So I think this is a year-round kind of perfume because of the complexity and some of the notes, especially the animalic notes. I would recommend this more for night, but I wanted to test it in hot weather to see how it did. It never got out of control. It never got overpowering or offensive by any way, shape, or form. I loved it in warm temperatures, to be really honest with you, and it performed really well. I would say a good 6 to 8 hours of it being, you know, a good arm's length sillage, because it starts off a little stronger than that, but it does come to about arm's length. And then the last couple hours, you know, it's about elbow's length, but you can still smell it. And it's amazing. Price is really good on these too. It's like mid-range. It's not even that expensive for a niche perfume. And look what you get. I mean, what? This is insane. It's insane. It's insane to me. I must say that. It's insane. God, they're gorgeous. I'm so glad I have one. So now, some of the other ones that I've tried, but I'm on the fence about. 2 of them are Bat and Bee. Now, Bat there's something in there. There's a note or an accord in there I'm not quite sure about. So I'm still working with that. I really want it though. I'm a huge Dracula vampire fan. So the whole bat thing, I really want it. I want it bad. So I'm still working with that damn sample. B, I love the opening of it. But then it kind of goes into too smooth of edges. It becomes like honey cream or something. I need a little smoke in there. I need a little earthy in there. Not necessarily floral or fruity, because I wouldn't want anything more sweet in there. I would want to, it's like when you add, you know, a little pinch of salt to something sweet that you're baking, or you add a little bit of sugar to a gravy, you know, because it helps bring out some of the opposite flavors. My parents always put salt on their cantaloupe and their watermelon because they said it made the melon sweeter. I didn't find that to be true, but they swore by it, that it made it sweeter by adding salt. It's a comparison thing. And I get that. And I love that. So that's why I would love to have something, not necessarily salty, but something to balance out the sweet, and which in turn would also emphasize it. So I have not popped for B, even though I really want to. I have not yet. Chameleon, I'm still working with, but I don't think I'm going to get a full bottle of it. It has a stage that's a bit too sharp green for me, but I'm still working with it. So I haven't rolled it out completely. I just tried for the first time Civet. Ooh, now that one I'm going to work with more, and I really, really am liking it. And it's much less animalic than I would have thought. I wouldn't have even thought to test it. But Luckyscent, I didn't want to pick out samples with my latest purchase from them. So I just said, hey, can you send me some Zoologist? Because I really want to check them out. So this is one that they sent me, and I never would have picked it for myself, but I really, really like it. So I'm going to work with that one more for sure. And then Luckyscent also sent me Panda, and I'm sure it's the latest version, not the 2017. And I really like that one too. Really, really, really. I'm almost thinking of buying a bottle of it for my husband, but I don't know. I don't know if I could split it up and keep it on his shelf. It might have to be one of those where we're going out and he hasn't put anything on, and I grab Panda and go, and that's that. That's right, I am the perfume boss in my house. So, but that is Zoologist. And I say Zoologist, tomato, tomato. I absolutely am so appreciative of these niche indie houses that are making these amazing perfumes that are so unique and creative. And absolutely, if you were to choose one of them as a signature scent, you can be guaranteed ain't nobody in your town going to smell like you. So, I mean, if you live in LA and New York or whatever, then of course all bets are off. But if you live in a town like me that's smallish, you know, 250,000, it's pretty small in the scheme of things, that there ain't nobody going to smell like me if I'm wearing Camel. Guaranteed. Or any other Zoologist. Or any other Centauri for that matter. You know, I appreciate designer perfumes. Absolutely. But just think, do you really want to smell like, you know, if somebody else can go to Nordstrom's and get the same perfume as you? Do you really want that? I don't know. I like checking out smaller houses, unique houses, houses I've never heard, just off the bat, just go ahead and order a sample, because gosh, you just never know when you're going to discover another Zoologist or another Centauri or another Il de Soliani, or, you know, whatever. It just, I hope that everybody just makes sure that they think outside of their own box and try something new. All right, well, that was a quickie on Hummingbird and a quickie on Camel from Zoologist Fragrance House. Amazing. Just mind-blowing how far we've come since the days of my first Jean Naté Lemon Splash, or even when I graduated to Taboo, or Halston, or Lorraine, or even Angel by Thierry Mugler. Perfume has evolved so much. Just make sure you evolve with it, and check out some perfumes that you might be a little frightened to try. You just never know. You may ride a camel with the hummingbird on your shoulder. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Use your own nose. Try something new. And I'll see you soon. Bye.